tragedy that will go down in history as one of the worst days in this country's history. One thing has to be said: people of all races, nationalities, sexes stopped to help people who needed help. It was an unbelievable.
What did you see as the challenges? What did you see as the difficulties? And particularly as you started working and trying to dig through what had actually happened?
Well, from the very beginning, it was the sense that we were meant to fail.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. President Bush did not want an independent investigation. The members of Congress did not want an independent investigation. But I think probably the most successful and the strongest lobbying group that I ever came across in history was the organizations of victims' families. And they demanded there be an outside investigation, but not with us.
They were very skeptical.
They were very skeptical. They didn't want politicians to be a part of it. So when we sat around that first table, you know, there was a feeling, wow, we've got a heck of a challenge in front of us. And how am I going to get along, you know, with this totally partisan Democrat? And Bob wasn't, you know, Bob came in a year after it was over, but I can remember sitting next to Jamie Gorelick, you know, the one woman on it. And I can remember thinking when she introduced herself, and I didn't know her at all,
she'd been part of the Clinton administration, right?
There's that she was Deputy Attorney General. And I thought, now there's a very partisan Democrat, but she wants to get this right. And she told me later, she thought, there's a really partisan Republican, but he wants to get it right. And the longer we went on, and you know, the more sort of the group dynamics were, the more determined we were to come out unanimously. And in a sense, the easier it was to come out unanimously. And it was not expected, because some of the hearings were very contentious in nature. And I don't think anyone expected us to come out unanimously. And so these victims' families groups who'd been very critical of us, within an hour of the report coming out, were our best allies, and they were the ones who really got it through Congress.
Great. Now, the thing I would add, what Senator Gordon just said, is that for me, and I came out in December of 2003, the thing that I think is important for citizens to note is that this was a conspiracy. And a conspiracy that was going on, I would say, at least 10 years, and maybe longer. And it's a conspiracy, many of the facts of which were, I would say, cloaked behind secret sources and methods that the United States government had used to collect. And among the challenges that we had then, and I think we still have, is trying to break down the regulatory barriers that make it difficult to get access to those information, protecting the right of the president to maintain his confidentiality with his staff, maintaining the actual protection of legitimate sources and methods. But it's a problem in our democracy because, as you know, the 9/11 Commission report did not put this thing to rest. There's still lots of people with alternative theories of what happened, oftentimes ignoring, in my view, the facts, sometimes building a case on narrow sets of facts. But it gets at I think, one of the most important things of democracy, which is, do you trust that your government is telling you the truth? And anytime you're operating in secret, as our government does in these areas, of necessity, it oftentimes produces the kinds of suspicions that makes it difficult for the government to operate.
Perhaps one of the better examples of that was NORAD. And you had pointed out that they gave you a lot of bad information, erroneous information about things.
NORAD did, the FAA did, right. and that damaged, the whole effort, because they had gone public with a schedule that turned out to be totally in error, totally erroneous, and I think that's the source of some of the skepticism people still may have about 9/11.
Well, the Air Force in their official history wrote it down wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I would say intentionally so, because it made them look better.
Some people want to run here across, but there's just no way for them to, as I look at it, something is, I can't, is this the building is going, is that the building going down, is that the second building of the World Trade Center going down?
Yes, that is the second tower.
but it gets at I think one of the most important things of democracy, which is, do you trust that your government is telling you the truth?
To be honest with you, we arrived on late Monday night and went into action on Tuesday morning. And not until today did we get a full opportunity to work the entire site other than the spot at Church and Day to which we were deployed.